Welcome back to Spark's Backyard Garden. Today is episode 3 of our garden planting series. We're going to cover when and where to get seeds, the difference between heirlooms, hybrids, and open pollination, seed storage ideas, and pros and cons of buying plants versus seeds. In 2020, the supply chain got broken across all industries, including seed suppliers. Whenever it comes to seed suppliers, there's some major suppliers and there's also some smaller suppliers. The major suppliers most people have heard of are Baker Creek, Johnny's, Burpee's. There's a few more like M.I. Gardner, Botanical Interest, etc. Most of those bigger suppliers ran out of seeds early in the season last year. It's due to more of an interest in gardening that people took whenever they were stranded at home. I started searching for some smaller seed companies. A few of these were the ones that I found. Seed Savers Exchange, Southern Exposure Seeds, Renee's Garden, and also Mortgage County Seeds. There's dozens of companies out there, all of which have some really good things going on. And what I found with these smaller seed companies was they had more in stock. It was easy to get what I needed, and their shipping was very reasonable. Something that we learned from 2020 was that shortages, it was a real thing. It happened across all industries again. I expect 2021 to be very similar whenever it comes to seed suppliers. They're already starting to run out. This is late December whenever I'm recording this, but I've found that a lot of the most popular seeds with the bigger suppliers are already starting to get low or already out of stock. It's a good idea to order your seeds early. If not already, you need to go ahead and start thinking about getting them now. Don't wait. And above all things, don't hoard. That keeps everybody else from being able to get seeds to keep their garden going. Sometimes it can be confusing whenever it comes to looking at heirloom varieties or hybrid varieties or open pollinated. So what does all that mean? Heirloom, it's really easy to describe. Heirlooms are just, it's a plant that's been passed down from generation to generation. Typically, most texts say that it's a type of plant that's at least 50 years old. Whenever you save seeds from an heirloom variety, you can guarantee that the seeds are going to grow plants that are true to the parent that it came from. Open pollination, it means that pollination occurs by either the wind, insects, birds, sometimes even humans. If you save seeds from an open pollinated plant, you can still get a plant that's going to be true to the parent that it was taken from. Next will be a hybrid variety. Hybridization is just a process to where you take two different species or varieties and cross-pollinate them so that you can create a new species or variety. And what that can do is to create a plant that has more desirable aspects about it, such as disease resistance, higher crop yield, different colors. And there's several different reasons for it, but a hybrid doesn't mean that it's bad. But it does mean that if you save the seeds, that you're probably not going to get a seed that's true to the parent plant. It's probably not going to look the same as what you actually saved the seed from. There are many different ways that you can store seeds. So once you get your seed packets or once you harvest your seeds from your plants, what then? There's a lot of different ideas. There's a lot of different ways that you can save those seeds. Not one way is correct. They're all right. I've tried in the past. I've used Ziploc bags. Some people like to use small little totes, and you can keep those totes inside of a bigger tote for organization. And it keeps them kind of tidy and together. I've heard of some people using medicine bottles, empty medicine bottles. And for me, this is what's worked. I've come up with these binders. I kind of geek out whenever it comes to seeds. So you can see I have, this is my herbs. So I can open this up. I've got everything in different pockets you can see here. If you go to the store, you can find these pockets pretty easy. It's just what most people put their baseball cards or Pokemon cards. It's just a collector's pouch. And I do the same thing with my flower seeds. I've actually already got a bunch of these planted. I'm going to do a video on that soon. So this is very empty compared to what it was. But you can see, for example, this pack, this is open. I'm going to keep it because I didn't use all the seeds. So that's always a good idea. Just because you open a pack, if you don't use them all, doesn't mean that the seeds are going to go bad. They're going to be viable. They're going to be viable for quite some time. And these are my vegetable seeds. I have not planted my vegetables just yet, so this is full. I have everything alphabetized, so you can see that the different varieties are pretty extensive. What are some of the pros and cons of buying seeds versus buying plants? Well, plants are available. They're easy to get to in the spring and a lot of times during the summertime as well. You're going to be able to find the vegetables that you like, but the downside of that is you're not going to necessarily have much selection. If you go to a store, you might have one, maybe two varieties of squash. One variety of zucchini, for example, is very typical. Watermelons, that's one. There's usually a few available, but not many. Whenever you start looking at seeds, at a reputable seed supplier, there are dozens and dozens of every kind of vegetable that you can think of. And everyone has a different size, a different color, a different texture, a different flavor. So it's always fascinating to me to be able to find a vegetable that I love and to be able to find another variety of that vegetable, so that it fires me up. It gets me excited to be able to think about growing something new every year. So tell me in the comments below, do you prefer heirlooms, hybrid? Does it matter to you? How do you store your seeds? And lastly, what vegetables do you love to grow, and how many varieties have you ever tried? If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe.